Hi, Paraton Weather Meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday morning, June 17th. A lot to talk about this morning. We have a tropical system we want to focus in on, and there's also the possibility of a derecho that could impact the Midwest, the upper part of the Midwest on Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and then some of those storms could push into the Mid-Atlantic region late Friday night and during the day on Saturday. As far as the tropical system is concerned, there is a wave now just to the west of the Yucatan Peninsula region of Mexico, about to enter into the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico. It looks like it'll turn northward over the next 12 to 24 hours or so and likely reach the central Gulf coastal region of, let's say, Louisiana by the time we get to late Friday night, early Saturday morning. If indeed it reaches tropical storm status, and that certainly is on the table, it will become named Claudette. The first two name systems of this young tropical season were rather inconsequential to anyone on the U.S. mainland. This one will certainly have more of an impact. And what's interesting is after landfall, it'll turn to the north and east, and there's some signs that as it becomes intertwined with an approaching upper level trough to the north and west, this tropical system could actually intensify some while over land. That is, of course, contrary to the normal trends for tropical systems, which tend to fall apart over land. But this one has some interesting upper level support. So by the time it moves from the central Gulf coastal region to the Mid-Atlantic region, let's say from late Friday night, early Saturday to Monday in the Mid-Atlantic, could actually become a little bit stronger of a system, potentially pushing rains all the way up into the Mid-Atlantic region for the early part of next week. So let's start off by looking at the location of the wave, and here it is. This is the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico right here, the tropical wave just to the west here. Still rather disorganized, but it'll start to make a move now. It's been meandering around the Bay of Campeche over the last 24 hours. Now it'll make a move to the north and slowly intensify. And again, if it reaches tropical storm status by the time it reaches the northern Gulf of Mexico, it would become named Claudette and likely headed to landfall late Friday night, early Saturday morning around Louisiana's southern coastal region. And then it takes a turn to the north and east. So some heavy rainfall across the southeast U.S. on Sunday, Tennessee Valley region right in here. And as it continues to the north and east, it could actually intensify some by the time it reaches the southern part of the Mid-Atlantic region, potentially spreading rains all the way up into the Mid-Atlantic region by the time we get to Monday. And again, it could actually be a stronger system when it reaches the Mid-Atlantic coastline as compared with when it makes landfall along the southern Louisiana coastline, all because of its interaction, its ultimate interaction with a very strong upper level system that will be dropping south and east from Canada, and that upper level low will have a strong surface cold front associated with it, which by the way will usher in another beautiful air mass for the northeastern part of the nation by the time we get to the middle part of next week. Well, before we get to the operational run of the GFS, I wanted to show a couple of maps from the the European model run from last night at 0Z. This particular model has been kind of emphasized the possibility of this tropical system strengthening some over land. Again, unusual for Atlantic Basin tropical systems, but makes a little bit of sense once we take a look at the upper level support that will be advancing south and east right towards the remains of the tropical system. This is the forecast map for early Saturday, and here is the tropical wave. Again, it could be Claudette at this particular time, perhaps tropical storm Claudette. Notice the millibar here, 1008, 1008 millibars upon landfall according to the European model run by the time we get to early Saturday morning. Now take a look at the forecast map 48 hours later for Monday morning. Again, it made landfall as a 10,008 millibar low according to the European model run from last night. Early Saturday in this position. And by Monday morning, this is a Monday morning forecast map. Look at this, a little bit stronger of a system here. Certainly a deeper low than at landfall here. 10,004 millibars right over central part of North Carolina. And here is an advancing strong cold front backed up by strong upper level support, and the interaction between this system that's pushing to the south and east and the tropical wave will determine exactly how far to the north and east the leftover range can come, and how this may intensify over land after landfall. Again, we're talking about a potential mid-Atlantic impact, certainly the Carolinas and Virginia, by the time we get to Monday evening. So this is something to keep an eye on. Now let's take a look at the GFS model run. And let's start off with the upper level vorticity field. Again, vorticity maxima in the upper part of the atmosphere, kind of areas of rotation or spin aloft that tend to lead to upward motion just ahead of a vortmax, upward motion down at the surface. So it's a good place to look for the potential of clouds and precipitation, low pressure areas down at the surface. And first of all, beginning the day here on Thursday, we have just a very, very strong, intense high pressure system at all levels of the atmosphere sitting over the Four Corners region. Again, that has contributed to some extreme heat out across the western part of the nation, all the way from Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico, all the way up to Montana. Again, this is extreme heat associated with very strong upper level ridge. Meanwhile, in the north and east, an upper level trough, still very, very comfortable conditions, even in the urban areas along the I-95 corridor. DC, Philadelphia, New York City, Boston, all very pleasant temperatures and comfortable humidity levels for this time of year, and that will last another 24 hours or so. It certainly becomes a little bit more humid and warmer on Friday in the Northeast, in the Mid-Atlantic region, and certainly by the time we get to Saturday, back to very warm and humid conditions with the chance for some thunderstorms. So let's move forward here, and again I mentioned up front about the possibility of a derecho to form in the upper part of the Midwest. And here it is, related to this particular upper level system here, Friday evening forecast map, a very healthy wave of energy cutting across the northern plains, and could result in a very strong line of thunderstorms, potentially severe thunderstorms in the upper part of the Midwest late Friday into Friday night, maybe even a derecho, which simply means a long-lasting line of strong to severe thunderstorms that could last all the way from the upper part of the Midwest into perhaps the Ohio Valley, maybe even into the Mid-Atlantic region. We'll just wait and see on that. Here's a reflection of the tropical system at 500 millibars as of Friday evening. And again, look at this intense area of energy in the upper part of the atmosphere. Again, could produce very strong, potentially severe weather across the upper part of the Midwest. Here's a reflection at 500 millibars of the tropical system. And let's move forward here. And that northern plains system pushes eastward, south and east, across the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic region. Friday night and Saturday, any shower, any strong to severe thunderstorm over the upper part of the Midwest could work its way across the Ohio Valley into the Mid-Atlantic region by the time we get to late Friday night and Saturday. Something we'll watch for. It is a reflection of some vorticity, some spin in the atmosphere associated with that the tropical wave. And here we go, by the time we get to Sunday night and Monday, notice here a little bit of a better organization than what happened at landfall. Again, this is the GFS model, kind of going along the lines of the European model that again showed potential intensification of this tropical system over land. And even the GFS has a little better organization here on Monday morning over the Carolinas, over Virginia, as compared with when it makes landfall late Friday night, early Saturday. And here comes that next upper level low. Very, very strong system for this time of the year. Strong surface cold front. Has some very cool air for this time of the year on the backside of that cold front that pushes into the Mid-Atlantic region by the middle of next week. And the interaction between this system and this upper level low will determine exactly how much this could intensify and how far to the north and east its leftover remains, its leftover range could go during the day on Monday evening. Let's push forward here. That pushes off the mid-Atlantic coastline by Monday night. Could even intensify further offshore once it gets out over the western part of the Atlantic. And this is a very strong system. We will no doubt, no matter how far north and east the tropical system ends up going, we will have a very strong cold frontal passage in the eastern U.S. late Tuesday night, and that will usher in a very comfortable air mass once again for the Great Lakes and the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast by the time we get to the middle part of next week. This is the forecast map for next Wednesday, 6 days from now. Continued very comfortable conditions here. Continued very hot weather out across the southwest. Notice upper level ridging remains almost in that same Four Corners area, a little bit to the south and east, perhaps a little bit weaker than what we're experiencing over the next couple of days, but still hot out in the west and very pleasant out across the northeast by the middle of next week. Well, how does this translate to temperatures closer to the ground level? Let's look at 850 millibars, a couple thousand feet off the ground level here. Cooler than normal continues today in the Mid-Atlantic region. Very comfortable humidity levels. Overnight lows last night in some suburban areas well to the north and west of Philly, for example, actually dropped down into the upper 40s. I saw 48 degrees at Gilbertsville as an example in the southeastern part of Pennsylvania. Still well above normal across the western part of the nation. Let's just move forward here. The general pattern of cool of the Great Lakes and northeast and hot out in the west continues for the next several days here. Here we get to the Sunday forecast map. This cooler than normal condition right here is associated with the tropical wave. Plenty of clouds and moisture helping to keep temperatures down. Still hot out across the southwestern part of the nation. Now let's move forward here and look at this blast of cold air. Cold relative to normal for the mid to latter part of the month of June. This is the Monday afternoon forecast map. It is this time that the remains of what could become Claudette will be right around the Carolinas, Virginia, maybe even rainfall extending up to Philly and New York City. A little too early to say that yet, but a better chance certainly for the Carolinas and Virginia. And again, with the possibility of it strengthening, could be some decent wind gusts to talk about in the Mid-Atlantic region. And then look at that cold blast. That just slams into the eastern U.S. by the time we get to Tuesday of next week with a strong cold front. Probably bring in additional showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday across much of the eastern U.S. and then a beautiful air mass for this time of the year by late Tuesday night, and Wednesday throughout the northeastern quadrant of the nation. That includes the Great Lakes, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, New England. But notice out here, continuation of a very, very warm pattern above normal from Arizona, New Mexico, all the way to the U.S.-Canadian border. Well, let's wrap up with the surface maps from last night's operational run of the GFS. And again, we'll point out the possibility of a derecho in the upper part of the Midwest later tomorrow night. Let's move forward here rather quickly. And here we go. This is the time period for possible landfall across southern Louisiana. It was late in the day Friday, and then by late Friday night, early Saturday morning, here's a late Friday night forecast map. Potential arrival of what could become Claudette right around the southern Louisiana border region. And let's back up a little bit. Just want to point out before I forget, this is the area associated with that initial upper level wave over the northern plains and the upper part of the Midwest that could drop south and east and cause some strong thunderstorms. And here we go. By the time we get into Saturday night, heavy rain breaks out across the southeastern part of the nation, really from the Tennessee Valley across the southeast. You could have some leftover heavy rains from this tropical wave, and then it moves up into the Carolinas and Virginia. And watch out, there could be a little bit stronger of a development here than what the GFS is saying. We saw the European model, and that certainly holds out the possibility of a little bit of strengthening while over land as this next frontal system approaches from the north and west, and that will be backed up by some very cool air for this time of the year. So Monday's the day to watch for some decent rain across the Carolinas, Virginia, maybe up to Pennsylvania and New Jersey. We'll have to wait and see on that. Potential some decent wind gusts as well. And then, just looking to the north and west, there'll be a very strong cold front arriving during the day on Tuesday across the eastern seaboard. Could have some more showers and thunderstorms associated with it. And then by the time we get to the middle part of next week, and here is the Wednesday morning forecast map, all that moves off the coast. Strong Canadian high pressure drops all the way into the mid-Atlantic region. Another beautiful time period coming for the from the Great Lakes to New England, all the way down to the mid-Atlantic region, the Tennessee Valley, with pleasant temperatures and humidity levels for the latter part of June. Meanwhile, it stays rather hot out across the western U.S. So a lot going on. A potential tropical storm, Claudette, could strengthen over land. And watch for a line of strong to potentially severe thunderstorms late tomorrow night, into the day on Saturday, that could cross the upper part of the Midwest, maybe even a derecho, that long-lasting line of strong to severe weather. Could make it all the way into the Ohio Valley, and perhaps even into the Mid-Atlantic region late Friday night and Saturday. So a lot going on over the next several days. That's it for now. For Paraton Weather, I'm meteorologist